When viewing this video and while working on any French door refrigerator, always keep in mind that the first priority of the refrigerator is food preservation. When the main control senses that food preservation is jeopardized, the main control will temporarily shut down the fresh food ice maker until the cooling issue is resolved. This is what is known as the freezer recovery mode. Freezer recovery mode is activated when the control senses an 8-degree difference from the control's set point. To verify the freezer temperature, enter the refrigerator service mode. To enter the refrigerator service mode, press and hold the freezer up and down temperature keys at the same time for 5 seconds. And go to test 29, which checks the freezer temperature. Once the cooling issue is resolved and the temperature reaches within 4 degrees of the set point, the ice maker will resume ice production. Let's look at some of the reasons why an ice maker would stop working. Ice maker has been turned off. Verify that the ice maker is turned on. If the ice maker is turned off, the ice maker will not operate. To verify that the ice maker is on, check the lower left-hand corner of the user interface. When the ice maker is off, a red light will appear above the ice maker on-off button. To turn the ice maker on, press and hold the ice maker on-off button until the red light disappears. Fresh food and freezer door not closing or sealing. This next section will go over a few different situations. Each situation has the potential to cause the freezer recovery mode to begin. Overall, take a moment and look to make sure that the gaskets are completely sealed. If the gaskets are not sealing, correct or replace the gasket as needed. In this first situation, the entire top and upper side view of the freezer door gasket is showing a noticeable gap. This type of misalignment can happen when the freezer door was removed during delivery. This can also happen if the customer leans on the handle, pushing the top of the door outward and the bottom of the door inward. The only way to align the door is to slightly loosen the 3/8 alignment screws, just enough so you can tilt the door back and forth, to achieve an equal distance from the door to the cabinet on both the top and bottom of the door. Once the alignment is set, tighten the 3/8 inch alignment screws. Test and observe that the freezer door gasket is properly sealed all around. Another thing that can jar the door open on either side is food that is outside of the baskets, baskets that are not set in place properly, and items that are too large for the tilt-out shelf, which is on some models. To solve this problem, open the door and make sure that all food is within the racks or baskets. And make sure that the baskets are set securely in the shelf supports. And make sure the tilt-out shelf is in its full upright position. On rare occasions, the freezer door can be pulled out of alignment from side to side as shown. To check if this has happened, carefully open the freezer door. The alignment bar will be out of alignment. In this demonstration, we have shown an extreme circumstance, and the issue can be much more subtle. Check the teeth on each rail. With each side, there should be an even number of teeth. In this case, the right side is off by about 10 teeth. Remove the alignment bar. And pull the rail of the shelf out so that each side has 0 teeth showing. Reinstall the alignment bar and the freezer door should close correctly. Advise the customer to pull more at the center of the freezer handle to avoid this problem in the future. Another situation that can cause no ice is if the refrigerator doors are not closing all the way. Most of the time, it is food obstructing the closing, but on occasion the ice bucket or crisper drawers can prohibit the door from closing. Be sure that these drawers are securely set in place. Another problem that can be found around the fresh food doors is something as simple as the mullion guide needs to be reinstalled properly to allow the fresh food door to close. Loosen these two screws and adjust as needed. Also check to make sure that the flipper mullion is actually flipping shut when the two fresh food doors are closing. Another thing to check if the refrigeration door is still not closing correctly would be the magnet inside the mullion guide, as it might be reversed. To solve this problem, the mullion guide will need to be removed by taking out these two screws. With no physical markings to go by, the magnet itself can tell you which side it is supposed to be on. The magnet should attach to the mullion, not repel it. One last thing to check in the freezer section is the closer that is on the main support rail itself. When the freezer door is fully open and the main support rails are fully extended, these closers should be fully extended as shown. If the closers are not fully extended, replace the main support rail. Defrost system issues. If all shelves, doors, and gaskets check OK, enter the refrigeration diagnostic mode and check other items that will cause the Icemaker not to work, like a frozen over evaporator, which is a good indication that there is an issue with the defrost system. If there seems to be a lot of frost, check the defrost thermostat for a loose connection or check to see if the thermostat is open. Check the defrost heater for a loose connection also. Check that the evaporator and condenser fans are operating. Check that the interior lights are not staying on when the doors are closed. Sealed system issues. Last but not least, check that the compressor is running and giving the evaporator a fill frost pattern. Also check to see if there is a leak in the sealed system or if the sealed system is restricted or possibly has a low charge. Icemaker Diagnostics. Once all refrigerator and freezer checks have been exhausted, enter the Icemaker Diagnostic mode. To enter the Icemaker Diagnostic mode, press and hold the fresh food and freezer temperature up keys at the same time for 5 seconds. Does test 48C show FR? If so, then the problem is not with the Icemaker. It is not making ice because the system control is telling it not to make ice due to the freezer being too warm. If this is the case, then something was missed from the earlier steps. Restart your diagnosis from the beginning and double check all the areas we have discussed in this video so far, and look for reasons that would cause the freezer not to be cold enough. If 48C shows 1, then there is some issue with the Icemaker. Run test 63C to verify that the mold moves properly throughout its entire range of motion, and that the bay alarm is lifted when the mold is at the fill position, and down when the mold is at the freeze position. Additionally, this test verifies that the switches are working properly. If a mold switch is not working properly, then the mold will not stop when it reaches the switch. It will want to extend further and the gearbox will have a clicking noise. This could be a defective switch, a bad connection, or a mislocated switch. In these cases, you can use tests 58C, 59C, and 60C to troubleshoot the individual switches. If the mold movement and switches check out, then verify that all other Icemaker service mode components are working correctly.